Time to delve into the mysterious depths of the OSPF database, and it's going to be really just very simple for you. We've seen the network built. What I've done to simplify the database even further while we're learning it is that I've removed the Ethernet segment. I've also reset router 1's link ID, or excuse me, the OSPF RID to 1111 from our earlier lab. Now going from top to bottom, our type 1 LSA, that's our router link state up there. That's the router LSA. Every router on the OSPF network generates these. It's important to know with these what the scope of them is and what routers generate them. Now the scope of them is that they don't leave their own area. So every router on our OSPF network generates them and they don't leave the area. So since we have 3 routers with interfaces in area 0, we would expect to see an entry for each one of these, and we do. And notice again the link ID and the advertising router value, that's the OSPF RID. These contain just general information about the router, including the IP address and mask. They also contain, of course, the router's own OSPF RID, and we have our 3 entries there as we'd expect. The type 2 LSAs are the next ones down, and those are our network LSAs. Now note we only have one of those, and here's why. These identify the DRs and the BDRs in that area. And since this is an NBMA network, we know that we fixed the election so that we have one DR, and we know router 1 won that, and there would be no BDR. Interestingly / strangely enough, the link ID for this particular LSA is the IP address of the designated router. So that's one of the rare times you're going to see a value here under link ID that is not an OSPF RID. You're going to see the IP address in the area of the DR. Just like the type 1 LSAs, network LSAs do not leave their area. So that type 1 and 2, they do not leave their area. Type 3 LSAs are our summary LSAs. They're generated only by area border routers, and that's because type 3 LSAs contain information about other areas the router's connected to, so a non-ABR literally wouldn't have anything to say in a type 3 LSA. And since each one of our 3 routers here is an area border router, there's a type 3 LSA for each of the 3 routers in this LSDB. And also you're going to have entries for all of your areas. And here, for example, just looking at router 1, here's the router link state for area 1. Since there's only one router in area 1, that's all you would expect to see. So this database, that's why it gets bigger. It does get bigger with more areas, but you just have to get used to the fact that, each area is going to have its own type 1 LSAs, etc. You just go down the list and find what you need. But the thing is, they work the same and they're the same for each area. So again, just reviewing those really quickly. The type 1 is our router LSA. Everybody generates those, and they've got general information about the router, and we know that they don't leave their own area. Type 2 LSAs, they're network LSAs. They identify the DR and BDR on the segments. They don't leave their area. And type 3 LSAs, our summary LSAs, are generated only by area border routers. Now there is another kind of, got the wrong note there. There we go. There's another kind of LSA that I want you to know about, and they have to do with route redistribution. So bear with me here on this one. With the LSA types, type 4 lets other routers know where the ASBR is. I mentioned earlier that with the autonomous system border router, that's the router that's actually performing route redistribution. The type 4 LSA lets the other routers know where the ASBR is. LSA type 5s contain the actual information regarding the routes that are injected into OSPF. I don't think you'll see those 2 on your NA exam, but you should know about those for a job interview. You shouldn't know what LSAs 1, 2, and 3 are, not know what 4 and 5 are. So again, LSA type 4 lets all the routers know where the ASBR is. The type 5s contain the actual information regarding the routes injected into OSPF. That is it for the LSAs, and we're going to tackle the default information originate command next. See you there.